Okay, hi everyone, I'm Coach James here from Top Support. Today we're going to show you a sequence that I teach to my athletes to learn how to do the ankling. I think everyone of you know how important the ankling is to understand the biomechanics of running, especially during the max velocity, but also during acceleration. So right now, today I'm going to show you what sequence I'm going to do with my athletes to teach them how to master properly an ankling exercise. So we're going to separate these exercises in phases. We're going to have phase 1 on the ground, phase 2 on the wall, and phase 3 on the track. So now we're going to start with phase number 1, and we're going to do exercise number 1. Okay, so exercise number 1, we're going to have the athlete lying down on the floor, head relaxed, toes up, hands down. We're going to perform 2 movements. Movement number 1 is the heel raise by following the heel on the ground. Moment number 2, we're going to activate the glute and pull back the leg aggressively on the ground. We want to avoid activating the flexors and activating the quad. We're working only with the glute like this. We want to avoid a kick on the air, and we want to avoid just kicking down. We want to keep this knee on lock and extension by inertia. Pump like this. Okay. After we learn how to do this exercise, what we can do, we can add more to it. So we can ask the athlete to raise the hips, raise the glutes, activate hamstring and glutes, and we're going to perform the same exercise. In this situation, the athlete will feel the activation of both the glutes and the hamstrings by raising the hips up. And we're going to try to do the same exercise without activating hip flexors and quads. Okay, exercise number 2. Now we're gonna add a little resistance to the exercise. We're gonna put on right foot and left shoulder. This is a very light elastic for me. So basically it's the same exercise as before. Right now I'm gonna have a resistance on my leg that will help me to guide the leg in a proper extension. This will not work as a resistance exercise, it will simply work as a guidance exercise to let the athlete understand where the leg actually extends. You can see I'm not pushing against the elastic, but the elastic is helping me to extend in the proper direction. All right? Okay, now after that we finish working on the ground, we're gonna enter phase number 2. We're gonna do the same exercise on the wall. Why this? Because we're taking away the gravity assistance. So now we don't have gravity anymore that will help us to guide the leg in a proper position, and we're gonna try to use it by using our inertia. So same exercise, we're gonna have back on the wall, hands down, relax. We're gonna perform first a heel raise. So heel raise following the path of the leg, and from here activating glute, activating a little bit the hamstring, relaxing the quad, relaxing the hip flexors, and from here we're gonna perform a kick towards the wall without first kicking, extending. So without activating the quad, just letting the leg extend it by inertia and flick. This is the term, flick back. So 1, 2, 1. In the next exercise, we're gonna add another resistance. So we're gonna add the elastics to help us to guide the leg in a proper position. Right foot over the head, left shoulder. We're gonna be on the wall, so we're here. What we're gonna perform? We're gonna perform a heel raise. Now we're gonna have a little bit of less resistance from the elastic, and from here, pump. You can see now I'm not resisting to the elastic. I'm letting the elastic helping me to guide the leg towards a proper extension of the leg. Pump. Okay, now we are entering phase number 3. So we learned how to do it on the floor. We learned how to do it on the wall. Now we're gonna learn how to do it on track. First exercise we're going to perform is going to be called the heel raise, to let the athlete understand what is the pattern of the heel that raises. So what way does the heel raise when we're lifting the leg. So we're going to perform this exercise backwards. If you have a mirror, we can use the mirror so you can have the athlete actually understand how to perform this exercise. How does this exercise look like? We're going to perform the heel raise. The heel has to follow the path of the support leg in this case. If you have a mirror, for example, if you guys are my mirror, you should not be able to see my left heel while I'm raising the leg. This is because it's done to minimize the activation of the quad and also the hip flexors while raising the leg. Hands on hips, and we're going to simply perform no elastic energy, just a heel raise until the athlete understands where this heel has to be when the leg comes up. Okay, now after the athlete has understood what is the path that the heel follows, we're gonna move to the next exercise, and in this case it's gonna be the same exercise that we did on the floor. So we're transferring what we did on the floor and the wall on track, so we're entering into an ankling motion. The first exercise we're gonna do is gonna be an ankling separated in two phases. Phase number one, we're gonna have the heel raise. Phase number two, we're gonna have the leg pull. So we're gonna simply do an exercise like this: hands on hips, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. There's two things, or probably even three, that the coach has to look in this phase. Number one is that the heel is here, not too far back, not too far in front. It's raising here. Second thing that coaches need to look at is many of the athletes will want to do this mistake. One, a little bit of opening, so a little bit activating the hip flexors here to prepare for the pull and then pulling. If we're doing this, we're activating the hip flexors and we're slowing down the pull towards the ground. So remember, it's not 3 movements, it's 2 movements. 1, 2, 1, 2, and not 1, 2, 3, like this. 1, 2, 3. This is the movement, 1 and 2. The movement starts from here. And just like on the floor, on the wall, now we're gonna add the elastic resistance to help the leg to find a guidance on where it needs to be extended before reaching the ground. So what we're gonna do first, we're gonna put on the right leg one more time, opposite over the head, opposite shoulder. We're gonna be hands on hips, and we're gonna perform the same exercise we did before. 1, 2, 1, 2. You can see how the elastic is helping my leg to extend in the proper position around here, without having to extend actually the leg. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, now we can put the movement all together in a single motion. So we separated in 2 movements, 1 and 2. Now we can do the same drill once the athlete has understood how to do that properly in a single motion. So we're not gonna do any more 1 and 2, but we're simply doing 1. So hands on hips, over here, we're gonna do 1, 1. It's important that we do raise first, activation, swing of the leg back. Okay, now we are entering into phase number 4, which is in this case the movement. So we're starting to moving. Now we were just walking very slowly, and now we're gonna start to transfer it into an ankling, a proper ankling in motion. The first exercise we're gonna do is gonna be the walking ankling. Simply, we're gonna do 1, 2. We're gonna do it very simply, very gently, by walking. We don't care about the switch yet. We just want the athlete to understand the proper movement. Okay, from now on, we just need to increase a little bit the speed. We did the ankling walking. Now we're gonna go into an ankling more dynamic. So it's gonna be the same thing. We're gonna be walking, but we're performing now the switch of the leg. So from here, hands always on hips, so you can have the athlete feel the movement and the activation of the glutes. Over here, 1, 2. It's important over here that we follow the 2 important phases. Phase number 1, heel raise in the correct position. Phase number 2, swing without activating quads and hip flexors, just by activating the glutes, unlocking the knee, and let this leg extend by inertia. All right, one more time. Okay, now we enter into the next step, which is gonna just add more velocity to the movement, more speed. So it's gonna be the same exercise that we did so far, but we're gonna add more velocity and less break. So we go here. Okay. Whew. Okay, now the athlete at this point should be very comfortable in performing the movements correctly, and now we can transfer it in a proper ankling. We're gonna start first by doing the ankling single leg. So we're gonna perform a single leg. Let's choose right leg for me, it works better for me. We're gonna be hands on hips as well. We're gonna start moving a little bit. Then first movement is always from up to ground, because the focus of the ankling is by pulling the leg to the ground. If we start here, the first movement is gonna be a pull to the air. We're gonna perform always a pull to the air. So leg up, heel where the other knee is, and we're gonna start single leg. And once that athlete has understood how to do properly single leg with both legs, we can slowly transfer it into an ankling. So we're gonna start over here. We're gonna have the ankling. Normal ankling, as we said before, we start with the leg up and we go down with a switch. Okay, and that was the last phase and last exercise for the ankling sequence. This should help your athletes to understand how to properly perform an ankling. Now, once you have reached this phase, you can move on as you wish. You can increase the speed, you can increase the velocity, you can add it with other exercise like ankling plus high knees, ankling plus running, ankling plus single leg, or you can add other equipments. For example, you can add a stick over here, perform it hands in front, and we're gonna perform an ankling so we can stabilize the torso. We can put it behind our back over here so we stabilize still the torso and work more with the hips. Or you can use a medicine ball, you can use any equipment that you have. I hope this video has been helpful for you, and see you next time.